What's up? What's going on, everyone? I was going to do a quick live, go over last event a little bit, and go over Gaston that's coming up. So, give a couple minutes for people to get on, and see what's up from there. So, first, the last event was brought to us by. See, let me bring that up. Here we go. All right. So the last event on March 25th, I wanted to get to this earlier, but I had some events to get to myself, so I've been pretty busy and on the road. So back at it this week. So we get March 25th. We had Shearon Harris. It was sponsored by Carolina Waters and Catch. And Carolina Waters was at the event at the check-in, which was cool. They were there selling all their merch, which was excellent. They were very pleased with the support you guys gave them. So thank you guys for that. It's a pretty good turnout. We had 76 anglers, and it's a pretty good day. It was a little slower than I expected for Harris, but for the time frame. But people were catching them pretty good, including the winner, which was Mr. Clay Lanier, who is here with us right now. So I'm going to bring Clay on in. What's up, Clay?
Evening. How's it going?
Good, man. So, how many times have you fished with CK in the past?
So I started with Baden last year, actually, in May. I think I fished another event in between that, and it was Mayo. Then the third event was Gate City, I believe.
Okay.
I think Gate City was. I think I finished 8th or 9th in Gate City, so that was the best finish up until Harris, and then finished 20 mid-pack, I think 26th, 25th, something like that at Norman at the season opener. It's been good so far, though.
Nice. Did you have any pre-practice, pre-fishing time for Harris?
Yeah, so Harris, Saturday before, it was pretty chilly, went down, it's windy. Put it in at the upper ramp, kind of fished my way up, tried to fish clear water, tried to locate fish really on some of the bluff banks going up from the upper ramp. Never really happened, ran into a couple fish, lost one good one, thought maybe it could turn into a pattern, never did. Fished pretty much all day, then made my way up to the upper section of the lake and got on a pretty good pattern. The bite was a lot better in practice, to be honest with you. What you mentioned about the tournament day being slow, the bite was pretty bad, to be honest with you, based on what I saw in practice. But yeah, it ended up working. Found in practice, located some fish up in the grass, like in the grass. Tournament day, they weren't there at all. I'd never caught a fish actually in the grass like I was catching them. I was catching them mostly on run-ins after the rain previously. They weren't there on tournament day though, so it was much different.
Yeah, I think I had the same experience because one area that I went and fished, I had 3 bites. And it was in a pretty shallow area, and I went there and I was there for a couple hours. I couldn't get a bite, so I had to throw my hands up and go running.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, I was a little worried after the first hour and a half, 2 hours in the tournament. I was worried about the bigger bite. I didn't think I was going to run into a bigger fish. I left fishing practice, called 320s, left them, and then on tournament day they weren't there. So
yep, it's Harris for you.
Yep,
for sure. Yep. So what's your strengths do you think as far as fishing?
Say it again.
What's your strengths? What do you like to fish with when you're out there?
I really like to fish shallow. I mean, the group that I run around with likes to fish shallow too. So, my brother's been a longtime CKA member. So, I kind of grew up fishing with him. So we fish pretty similarly. And I think that's kind of played into how I fish as well. But we do things a lot different at the same time. So I really like to fish around grass. That's definitely one of my strengths, I'd say, mostly just because the lakes around here, if you can find submerged grass, I think it fits me well. But for me, I've always been a saltwater guy. I like to redfish. The shallower, the better. If they're on their belly, even better. So that's really kind of where I started. that and trout fishing. So it's a little finesse with speckled trout, but I really kind of lean more towards power fishing, redfish oriented is kind of what really brought me into the sport. I bought a native Titan a couple of years ago, got into kayak fishing, saltwater, and then finally got talked into coming over to freshwater. So
worked out pretty good so far.
Yeah, trying.
It's tough. It's tough to beat these guys. To get a win in this club is saying something. So, for sure, you've proved a little bit there. So you normally like to power fish? Is that how you were able to fish on tournament day?
Yeah. So tournament day was more of the same, really. In practice, I like I said, I found them dirt shallow. Honestly, just dragging a spinnerbait through the weeds. That was pretty much it. I found a couple buck bass mixed in with some females. Again, on tournament day, they weren't there, but tournament day in particular was kind of more of the same. They had backed off 50 to 100 yards off of where they were at. I don't know if it was just that front that came through really, but everyone said that they caught them in the rain. When it was raining, I never caught a fish. I'm not sure why. It was total opposite of what I heard from the field. So it was definitely different than practice for sure. But yeah, I mean, I was honestly catching them on a spinnerbait. That was it. I'd caught every single fish on a spinnerbait in practice, every single fish in tournament day on a spinnerbait. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a fun bite. It's probably one of my favorite bites for sure.
Yeah, I like it when I can get a spinnerbait bite going for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It was more about where. I've heard that white's big at Harris. I don't know why the color white's big at Harris, but that's what I've heard from folks in the field. But I was catching them on black. So
really interesting. Yeah, I've only caught them on white there, but I don't think I've ever thrown black, so it'd be a little different.
Yeah,
interesting. And so when did you get your first bite?
I had to go back and look. I think first bite was like 7:15 or 7:30. I think it was about an hour after first cast. Fished my first area that I practiced in pretty heavy. Try to find the fish that were there. I don't think they were there. Period. I think they backed out. So had to do a little bit of adjusting from there. But yeah, first fish I think around 7:30 if I recall correctly.
Okay. How long before you had a limit?
About 9. Yeah, it came pretty quick after that. I think it was 9 or 9:30 if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was pretty quick after that. I caught a lot of, after I had my limit, I caught a lot of small fish. I think I probably caught 13, 15 fish, something around there. But a lot of them were male buck bass. And even though they weren't necessarily oriented towards a bed, I knew the females were around. I lost one female, probably around 12:30 in between one of the rain showers, threw in, immediately jumped her off, threw right back in, caught the male. He was but yeah, I never really found that big bite that I had in practice. I was starting to get a little worried. I knew somebody was going to catch them on Harris. Somebody's going to catch a 20 plus and toss in another 22 or 23 to mix. So
yeah, it can happen any minute at Harris. You never know when it's coming. That's the fun thing about that lake is you can catch a 12-inch fish all day, and next thing you know, you get an 8-pounder at the end of the day. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just see Mrs. Jared Stanley got a 20 and set 3/4 and took big bass there.
Yeah.
So Sammy's your cousin, right?
Yep. Sammy Wilson's my cousin. As you all know, Brooks Lanier is my brother. So
right. And so you guys are in the top 4. You get the whole family.
It's always kind of a joke between us. It's like who's going to be who that day, and Brooks and I, after the tournament, we talked. We were running totally different patterns, really. I mean, the way he was catching fish, not necessarily in the same area or the same way either. It's really interesting. It's like, after I talked to Sammy too, his limit didn't come until like late in the day, and he was more main lake, so totally different than me, totally different area. There's more than one way to catch them for sure, but yeah, we always joke, with each other, who's going to be who, and I feel worse when I lose to them than I do anyone else, to be honest with you, because then I have to hear it for a week or two, or probably forever, to be honest with you.
Yeah, for real.
So,
That's
yeah,
usually how it goes.
yeah,
And it is interesting because everyone has their own strengths and their own likes. That's why I usually ask people what they're, what they like to do. It's just it's kind of a curiosity thing because
sure. Yeah,
I enjoy a lot of different techniques, but yeah, generally when they'll get on a power fishing bite, it's so much more.
yeah, yeah. It can be a lot of fun. Yeah, it can be a lot of fun. Yeah, tournament day at Harris was if your line wasn't in the water, I felt like you weren't going to win the tournament. It was a day where you had to make as many casts as possible. So never stopped, never ate anything, never drank a bottle of water type day. Luckily, it wasn't hot, but it
Yeah,
was one of those days where you had to continually fish, and if you weren't fishing, I felt like you weren't going to win. So
yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, that's something I learned. Well, kind of new, but I actually was the last couple of years started implementing is just fishing hard like all day long and
yeah,
making it every cast count and not wasting time. So
yeah,
uh,
yeah, for sure.
it makes a huge difference. You get the more times you get that bait in the water, the more opportunities you got to catch a fish. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah,
Yep. Throwing at a target multiple times will oftentimes in a kayak we can't cover as much water, so
hmm
throwing at targets multiple times is a big deal in kayak fishing for sure.
yeah. Because I think the fish I caught, which I don't even think I got a limit that day. I don't even remember. Probably blacking it out on purpose, but. I remember I fished the brush piles because I went and checked those after the shallow thing wasn't working.
Yeah,
And there was nothing there.
yeah,
And then at the end of the day, I went back and said, I'll just cast at it and blam, I got a fish. So it's
yeah,
just never
yeah,
know. Just got to keep going.
yeah. It was an odd day though. I'm not, like I said, the fish pulled off a lot further than what I thought they were going to,
Mhm.
just based on the conditions. The only fish that I interacted with that were on a bed or I saw some fry, things like that actually up there. But to be honest with you, I never saw any of the males and only interacted with that one paired up
Okay.
um, couple, so to speak, on that one bed. And I never saw the bed. It was too overcast and too deep. They were bedded deep. So
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't see any beds. I wasn't really looking hard. Wasn't sure if they were on them or already done with them or what the deal was. But
yeah, yep,
unfortunately, I didn't get any real practice time. I think I had one day I got to sneak out there for half a day or something, and that was it.
yeah, yep.
Um, let's see. Just going to check out the angle of the year standings. Well, you're in third place. Not bad. Not a bad start.
Yeah. See if we can hang on to it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Brooks is right behind you. He's probably,
yep.
oh,
He's barking up my tree for sure.
yeah. Oh, yeah. He's only a few, let's see, 6 points, 8 points behind you. So
Yeah.
not too many places he needs to beat you by to catch up a little bit.
Yeah.
But you guys got plenty of room to improve too. So long season left to get 2 drops. So there's plenty of time. Because
Sure.
Norman, you said, yeah, you were what 20? Did you say 25th?
25th or 26th. Yeah. Yeah. I practiced 3 times for Norman, went down there and skunked every single time. And then on tournament day, I think I caught like 20 plus fish, but just no size.
Yeah.
It's brutal. Norman's never been nice to me. Fished a foothills tournament in December down there as well, skunked. I mean, it's never been nice to me for sure.
Yeah,
So,
it's never been a strong suit for me over there either. I've only been there a few times, but yeah, I get stuck with the 14-inch.
yeah. Yeah, that was a class of fish that I found. I found one largemouth, and that was it. And I really searched for largemouth hard, but just they never showed as Norman. I mean, it's definitely not my strong. It's not my favorite lake, to be honest with you. So got to make do with what you got.
Yeah, it's not mine either, but there's a lot of people over there, so we wanted to
Yeah,
hang out over there and bring the club that direction so
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
we can spread out a little bit, which makes
sure.
it a challenge. Which the Tournament of Champions, which you're qualified for now, is a blind draw this year of all the tournaments we fished. And the last time I remember it being blind draw, I believe we drew Norman.
Yeah,
We'll see if that happens again.
I guess we'll see. Yeah,
That could be interesting.
yeah, definitely.
You going to Gaston?
Yeah, I'll be at Gaston. Have not practiced Gaston yet. Have not had time. Was at the coast last weekend doing some saltwater fishing. kind of wish I would have been at Gaston. It's still pretty slow down at the coast, so I'm hoping I can get up and practice on Friday. I'm not sure, to be honest with you, if I even have time to practice. Depends on work, so we'll see. But yeah, right now I'm planning on going and will be there. But to be determined about the bite, I guess. So
yeah, that should be interesting because it's my son actually fished a tournament there Saturday under a little small boat club he's in. He just joined this year and he ended up getting second place.
That's good. He
said the fishing was a blast. He loved it up there.
Yeah. So yeah, based on what I've seen, it could fit a multitude of styles. I mean, you can still catch fish out deep right now, I think, and based on what I'm seeing water temp wise, and but still kind of pre-spawn, but there's probably areas there too that fish are on bed. I really don't know, but just based on what I'm seeing and trying to do research on, it seems like it could be all over the place. The lake's so long, river oriented too, so you never know.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah.
We haven't been there before, so it'll be the first time for the club to show up there and see what it's all about. So it'll be interesting. And
for sure.
Hoping Drew pops in here a little bit. He's been fishing up there and having some luck, so I'm hoping he's gonna hop in and maybe spill some knowledge for people.
Yeah, I doubt it, but
yeah, he'll probably keep it a little tight, but we'll take all the help we can get.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I love doing this just to get the more people out there, get them catching fish, get them have a good time.
Absolutely.
Kind of the point of the club's not so much,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Gaston's been one I've been actually kind of looking forward to. I think the style of the lake could fit, like I said, a bunch of different ways to fish, really, and I think we're kind of hitting it at a good time. I don't know, I haven't been there yet, but it seems like it could be a fun place to fish this time of year.
Yeah,
so
that's what I heard. I mean, before last week, I think last week they had the rain muddied up a bit, and the current was pretty tough. But before that, I heard it was taking 19 to 25 pounds to win events in the lake.
Yeah.
Last week was a little lighter weights. I think it took like 12 pounds to win.
Yeah.
I'm thinking with the warm weather and stuff we got going on, and we got a pressure drop going into Saturday. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. It sort of reminds me of Harris, the weather, to be honest with you. It'll be not necessarily a little cooler. It was warmer than the weekend before when I practiced at Harris, but it'll be a little cooler, overcast, rainy, off and on. So the bite I think could really be pretty strong.
Yeah, I think so. And it does have the options that they're just between grass and offshore stuff. There's docks, there's everything. You want muddy water, there's places for that. Clean water, there's places for that.
Yeah, you got to worry about the live scope boys out deep.
Yeah, I keep on trying to get a hashtag fish like a man out going to people who don't not fish the stupid live scope.
Yeah. I teach their own. They beat me most of the time, so I can't say much.
Yeah, we like to battle with them.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. If you guys got any questions, pop them in there. We did add a ramp. Lizard Creek was added. There's a little ramp off Lizard Creek Road.
Okay.
That's on there too for everybody to check out if they want. I don't know how we missed it. It was a big bright ramp sitting in the middle of the map. So, but I think all the ramps are good except for the one I marked that I think there was some construction on. So, anyone listening, just make sure you read on the event page, all the ramps are listed, and the ones that have potential problems have messages on it. So, don't show up at last second and then get freaked out because you can't get to your ramp. Because there's construction on a bridge or something down there. So, what's up, Mr. Keith McGee? You coming up, Keith, or what? I think the Gaston event, I should probably mention who sponsoring it. That would be Mr. Rick Morris, Greensboro Gardens. He's put it up so we can have the 100% payout there. So thank you, Mr. Morris. I don't know if he's on here or not. He's probably sleeping. He works hard all day. Might still be working, actually. So what are the other plans? What are your goals for the year? Did you have goals set for 2023?
Really just try to fish every tournament on the schedule. That's my goal. Don't let work get in the way. I'm spending a lot more time off the bike. I'm a big cyclist, big road cyclist, kind of where I started. Really competitive person. So that's really where I started. And I bought a native Titan just because they have pedals on it, right? I always fished out of the flippers at Randleman and stuff like that with my brother, and always just rented a John boat or something like that. But realized that I can still get some type of exercise and get some type of mileage in, put it that way.
Yeah.
Pedal drive. And so my goal is to kind of blend both of those in a year and just try to fish every single tournament. That was really my only goal. I have been joking around with other folks in CKA, telling them that I'm coming for them, that my goal is to just beat them once. That was really my only goal and of course I'm talking about my brother. My goal was just to beat my brother, and that was about it. So I've done that, now I don't really know.
Now you're gonna make up another one. There you go.
Yeah,
I had the same thing. I used to race BMX bikes a little bit with my son when he started racing, and I always rode bikes when I was a kid. Did a lot of mountain biking and stuff when I got a little older. So the pedal drive thing was, that was great for me. I liked it. Now I'm getting lazy and starting to use the motor a little too much.
It's a good blend for me. When I was in college, I was spending 13, 14 hours on the bike a week, racing, 40, 50 times a year, traveling all around. So it's fun to get back into fishing a little bit deeper. I've always been into freshwater fishing, mostly saltwater, like I mentioned, but never really done anything competitively. Did fish one saltwater tournament last year as well, so that was fun. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good transition. The payout's much better in kayak fishing, to be honest with you. A lot less risk too. You don't have to worry about breaking bones. So
yeah, for sure. That's kind of why I got out of mountain biking a little bit. I was just, every time you get a little bit injured, it's taking a little too long in my age to heal. It's like 3 months for a little bump. It's like, come on. It gets old.
Yeah, I started telling myself I have to go to work on Monday, so that was one of the reasons. But
all right, cool deal. So where do you fish for when you get the saltwater stuff at the coast? Where do you usually head out?
Yeah, so Cape Fear region usually, mouth of the Cape Fear. That's always been sort of the hotbed for me. Just my grandparents have had a place down on Oak Island for a few years, and so pretty much my whole life been doing saltwater fishing with my dad. He's been instrumental in my love for the outdoors and cycling too. So that's really where it started. I've got of course the family is all into it too, saltwater fishing. So my wife, her grandma has that place at Holden. So anywhere in the Cape Fear region, Lockwood Folly region, down south to the Cape Fear too.
Nice.
Try to spend as much time down there as possible. Fishing wasn't too good last weekend. They're still a little scattered, bait's a little small, but still had fun.
Yeah.
So
I was hoping I tried last year to do a little bit more down on the coast. My daughter's down in Havelock, so hit some stuff over there and try to figure some stuff out. I got a striper, but I haven't been able to get a redfish yet. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, just June, July, whenever the mullet is like 2.5, 3 inches long, just throw it the grass, hang on. That's really about it. I mean, it's definitely my favorite way to fish. The skinnier the better as far as water level, and when they're chasing bait up shallow and everything's up in the grass, it's a lot of fun at the coast for sure.
Nice.
So yeah,
cool. Yeah, hopefully I'll get down there some more this year. Get my grandson out. He's a fishing fanatic now too. So between my son and my grandsons. I get everybody addicted to them around, so it's all good. And Mr. Drew's still sleeping apparently. Henry said he texted him to wake him up. So let's see, what else can we cover here? You got any sponsors or anything yet you want to talk about or no?
No, nothing yet. Just me, myself, and I. That's
that's
about it. No, I just
MasterCard and Visa.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. I will say that, one of the challenges for me this year, well, really, last year too, I took a deep dive into it and just, I look around at people's setups and stuff like that. It's so easy to get caught up in that stuff. But, the way I grew up fishing, pond fishing and stuff like that. And my dad has a little skiff we do saltwater fishing in now. But the simpler, the better for me. And I, had to pick up and buy a lot of tackle and stuff like that. Bass fishing is definitely a lot different. You can't just roll with, 2, 3 setups. And I've always known that, of course, I've following bass and MLF and stuff like that, but stuff's expensive. So it adds up quick. That's for sure.
Yeah, it does for sure. It's taken me a while to collect what I have, and I still don't have probably, half of what a lot of guys do.
Yeah. Honestly, I try to go super lean. I think the majority of the time it's about where you're at and your presentation rather than having, 10 different, granted, at Harris, I think I had 8 rods with me at Harris. I used one all day. So it was like, a lot of times I feel like it's a little overkill, but that's kind of the nature of the beast, I guess.
Yeah. I just don't like to. I don't want to stop and tie something else on. So it's nice to have one of everything that you want to throw sitting there ready to go. So
once you're dialed to having 3 of the same bait and different color always helps too. You can find out what color they're keying in on, stuff like that. That's really one of the reasons majority of the time I'll have like that many rods on deck. It's usually like similar bait style too, if I can figure out what the fish are on. So
yeah, for sure. Let's see. Let's see if anyone's got questions here. All right, cool. All right, well, you got anything else you want to talk about, or we can wrap this up and let you get back to dinner or whatever you got to do?
I was rigging for Gaston. That's really what I'm doing.
Nice.
Outside with a dog, rigging for Gaston. So, but I don't think there's anything else. I appreciate you having me on. And
absolutely.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the, openness about it. It's always good we get a lot of new guys. We get a lot of rookies that come in, and it's really cool to get them some information and know that, we like the community aspect of this sport. So the more we can promote that, the better, I think. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, other than that though, I appreciate it, and I guess we'll see you at Gaston.
Yes, sir.
All right.
See you there. All right, man. Have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Thanks, Clay. That was awesome. Some good information there for you guys listening. And other information on Gaston. Like I did say, we did add the ramp on Lizard Creek. Let me pull that up real quick because I'll get the ramps that we had notes on. River Ridge boat ramp was one of them. They might not open early enough. We're not sure when they open, so call them ahead of time if that's where you want to launch from and get the details from them. That's a private ramp, but it's open to the public. So the other one was Pashelle Road. It's a primitive launch on this lift on the southwest side of the lake, and there's some bridge construction over there. So as of a week ago, it was blocked. There's no way to get to that ramp. So excuse me. So, with that, make sure if that's on your list, make sure you got a plan B just in case you can't get there. I think that's about it for the ramp stuff. The HQ location, I'm going to go with, I was trying to find a venue to go to, try to work some relationships up there. That's why we do the venues, to try to work with some people who may want to sponsor later on and help to, promote their business. And I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody. So I think what we'll do is we'll use Salmon Landing as the HQ headquarters for the check-in at the end of the day. It's right about the center of the lake. I think it's pretty easy access for everybody. I'll post that up there tonight so everybody knows. And what else is going on? Well, most of the other stuff I'll probably announce on Thursday. Thursday we'll have the captain's meeting, and I'll give any more details, anything else that comes up. And we'll know the captain meeting prize and all that fun stuff. So looking forward to this one, and I'm looking forward to a couple of weeks off. After this one, we're going to go to the Potomac River, the KBF event up there on April 29th, and then I'll get a couple of weeks off before we do the big event over at Lake Hickory. So looking forward to this. I think it's going to be a good time. So with that, I'll let you all go. I don't think Drew was able to make it, unfortunately, but maybe if he if I get him on before the event, maybe at the captain's meeting, I'll get him on here because he had some good stories for what's going on. So I'd love to have him share that with you all and get you all pumped up for this, because I think it's going to be a good event with a lot of fish caught. And until Thursday, we'll talk to you all later. Take it easy.